Baby, it's time for a message. First of all, let me be honest. I love singing, but like, am I going to be singing in front of people? I don't know. And it was funny because I did a retreat recently and they were like, "You're going to be helping sing songs at the altar." And I was like, what? But like Loki, I be giving my, best Winnie Hutton here. And the people that know who Winnie Hutton is. But anyways, I'll be giving my best Winnie Hutton. So don't be mad. But you came to see what the vibes were for this week. So let's see what the collective message is, the collective vibe, and get this thing popping, shall we? Now, what is so crazy is I just posted about a card that's been following us this week, and here she is again. Because you keep forgetting, you keep forgetting, you keep forgetting. I'm repeating because the universe has us on repeat. Anytime we are on repeat, that means we're not getting the message. So when something keeps coming out for you, oh my God, my reading was the same for 3 months. Baby, you're not getting the message. And the Empress is here saying, baby, when are you going to get the message that everything that you want is already materializing? So what are you confused about? What are you confused about? What are you uncertain about? Why do you not know? When did you start lacking faith? Okay, some of us need to come out of isolation because we've been putting ourselves in the corner. We've been hermiting, and the world is waiting for us. The world is waiting for our gifts. The world is like, this is not only giving confusion, it's giving multifaceted, multi-talented. Like, you have so many gifts and the world is waiting to see every last one of those gifts. So, what are you waiting for? Because the Hermit is sitting here, and baby, it's Virgo season is coming. And as maybe one of your favorite Virgo girlies, okay, I must say that Virgo, despite overthinking very often, is a mutable sign. They're multifaceted. They're multi-talented. It's giving iconic. It's giving mogul. It's giving I have a lot to offer. So when you gonna offer it? Because the Empress, the Empress is here like, honey, you don't need to perfect that offer. Just drop it like it's hot. You don't need to keep fine tuning the brand. Release the offer. Release the offer. Tell the people what you're doing, okay? Because you're existing in this confusion when you just need to act like the universe is already supporting it. The universe already wants this for you. The universe is already creating space for it. It's already happening, baby. So, like, when are you going to act like that's the tea? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with you. Like, you don't work with people like me because you don't want them to be honest with you. Like, if you're going to, invest your good coins, like, you want the truth. And so the truth is it's already happening. The problem is you don't believe that. So you're sitting here like, I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know what I want. Baby, you do know what you want. You very much know what you want. The problem's not the clarity. The problem is the execution of the vision. That's a bar, okay? You might see that in a post later on, okay? Don't be mad if you see some of the things that I say later on because sometimes it's a bar. And it's funny because I keep shuffling and the Hermit is still sitting here looking at me like, when are they going to believe that this is possible? When are they going to have the blind faith? Because the thing is, the Hermit is holding this lantern, this light of spirit, blind, okay? The Hermit doesn't need a lantern. So it's following this internal guidance, being led wherever spirit is taking them. And that's very much what this divine feminine flow is about. It's about, I don't chase, I attract. I don't forget who I am. I just continue to exist in my authenticity and know that's going to naturally align me with every single thing I want. And so if I'm aligning with every single thing that I want, why am I confused? What am I confused about? I just need to exist. I just need to remember that Source has my back. And so the minute I remember that God, Spirit, Source, Universe is supporting my dreams, then I can just take the load off, because the hard work is not mine. The hard work is for Spirit. The hard work is for like the hard work is for just rest, the hard work is for Spirit. The hard work is in the execution of the plan, and I don't have to worry about that, because I just have to show up. And that's very much what the energy of this is, remembering that you just have to show up. And so as we kind of work in this space of remembering that, how do we then approach every day of our life in the reality that what we want is already on the way? Okay. And so with that acknowledgement, remembering that we are supported. And so a lot of us may be looking for nurturing right now. And I feel like Star Mother is here because, again, we're talking about this divine feminine energy, this divine feminine flow. But it's also reminding us of, with that nurturing, like, what stories are we telling ourselves that are making us feel like we're not supported in our journey? Because sometimes we need to learn to reparent ourselves. Sometimes we need to learn to be able to receive what we want. And sometimes that starts at our shadow. And so if we're kind of in this story of like, I'm unsupported, I don't have what I need, the universe doesn't have me, then I'm going to keep feeling like I need this nurturing because I'm not providing it to myself. I'm not pouring into myself the way I need to pour into myself. And I'm creating imaginary boundaries and restrictions. And also, I feel like with this boundaries energy, it says, where do you need to establish better boundaries? Making sure that you're protecting yourself and the things that you said that you wanted. Because if it's not a heck yes, it's probably a no. And I like to say that if it's not a heck yes, usually it's just a no with a hat on. Maybe is a no with a hat on. Okay? Maybe is a no in a pretty dress. And maybe the dress has sequins on it. And the dress is distracting you. Because the reality is you already know the answer, but you're like, oh man, that's a good dress. But that's besides the point. That is a distraction. Because the reality is you already know what you want to align with. So why are we sitting in this energy of being uncertain? And so I feel like what's crazy is it literally says, just say yes. Okay? Saying yes to yourself. Saying yes to, and literally 8:08 on the clock as I said that. But saying yes to yourself, reminding yourself that you don't have to create restrictions that don't exist. So, like, okay, yes, we, have things like budgets and and I only roll my eyes when I say that because sometimes we let things like money restrict us from everything. And it's like, yeah, you want to go to the spa, but like, what keeps you from taking a hot bath if you have a bathtub? Yeah, you want to go to the spa, but like, when's the last time you meditated with a face mask on? Like, why are we not existing in accessible luxury? Why are we making everything we want have some kind of financial barrier to it? And it's funny because I'm sitting here looking at this family card. When's the last time you spent time with your friends? And you could go to the park. Like, the Empress is literally sitting in the park. When's the last time you've touched grass? When's the last time you've done activities to ground yourself? When's the last time you've seen your friends? Okay? When's the last time? Because it's Leo season, despite, all these eclipses, so things will move a little slower. Leo season is a time where people want to be seen. People want to be mixy. People want to be outside. So, like, why aren't you there? Where are you? Where are you? Where have you been? And you're existing in this energy with this 5 of Pentacles of fear and scarcity. When the reality is, there's nothing to be afraid of. What are we afraid of? And so I feel like the universe is asking us to like take back our power and live back in our autonomy. Because literally, the emperor is poking out like, are you going to do the thing or are you going to just keep talking about it? And so this is really a beautiful time, especially as we're in these slower energies, to set yourself up for the breakthrough and put your money where your mouth is. And so I implore you to remember that you have access to so much and access to things that maybe you never had access before. And people in your life that maybe you never thought would be there, but they're there now. And so let's rewrite the story that we can't have what we want, because that story is a lie. You can have everything. And you just have to start walking in that truth and resonating in that frequency. And the Empress is here to remind you that.